Good evening, everybody. Welcome, guys, to the call. Bring back the glory. This call is mainly targeting students who have gone to Victoria High School on how maybe they can help bring back the glory at their school. So, guys, let us know. We just want to know where you guys are connecting from and which year were you at Victoria High School. Just type in the chat there where you are, which year or which year group, or where are you connecting from. We've got Hardwork Mgoda. He was also at Victoria High School, finished in the class of 1993. We were together with Hardwork as well. He was one of my classmates. We used to have fun together. I've got Olga there. And Olga, you were in the class of 19 or 8. Oh, no, this is not Olga. Oh, okay, this is Mr. Tanidzirai Makamure. I was confusing. I was seeing the Olga part of there. I was saying, no, Olga, that can't be you. You were some years behind me. You can't be. So, yes, Mr. Danny in the class of 1980. Wow, 1980 Form 1 class. I wasn't even in Form 1 or grade 1 myself. That's how time really flies. This is how diverse this group is. We've got Emson there connecting all the way from the UK. He was a class of 2002. That's when he completed his Form 4 as well. Wow. These are what some other guys who are a bit of my youngsters as well. And so I'm somebody who is in the middle of this group as well. There are some of my seniors, way, and some of my guys whom I'm also proud to call my juniors. That makes me feel good at times as well to have other people whom you can call also your juniors as well. So, guys, want to quickly just share with you a few things and a few projects that are being worked on by that Vicosa is really working on and that we are working on before we bring in our special guest onto the call tonight. I hope you guys can see my screen there. So we've got a few projects that we are working on for 2024. You guys, you can decide which projects excite you or that truly excites you as well. We've got the sports equipment project, which is being led by Faith Jawangwe. We've got quite a number of projects. Let me just see how I can get my screen moving here. Right, we've got the electrical fittings, which is being led by Chris Somerai. We've got a fields rehabilitation project that at least we are running as well to rehabilitate and to assist in the rehabilitation of the school fields as well. Then we've got the girls' hostel sanitary disposal facilities being led by Fungai Peza Namo. And then we've got bathroom upgrades. This is where we're trying to help and assist in the upgrades of the bathrooms at the school. Where we're converting them from bathrooms to showers. This is more on a hygienic purpose as well. And also it enables better utilization of the space available as well. So we have got a few things that have already been donated on the sports equipment, and Faith is still collecting. If you've got some of those equipment that you still have, guys, the school needs most of this equipment. If you've got anything that you have, your sports kits, or if maybe you want to donate a school kit or whatever for different sports that at least you know the school are happening and they need just as much as you can bring in as well. So we have some people who have already donated some of this equipment, and any donations is still welcome as well. So we've got this project as well on the sanitary pads, and it's being led by Fungai Mapedza Mombe. I mean, girls need to dispose their sanitary pads in a more hygienic way, and the incinerators they're no longer working, so they need help to get ways of properly disposing this as well. So if it's, Fungai, she's still working on it as well to get some of the necessary information and quotations and scope of work as well. So if it's something that really interests you, please be able to contact any of these other people as well. We've got the bathroom upgrades from bathtubs to showers, and so these are projects that at least we or the school are working with the school that we want to make sure that at least something is being done and delivered this year. So, guys, just identify which one you are more interested in and which one you can help and contribute. I'm so proud of these guys. Form 4 class of 2002. They have done the C block toilets rehabilitation, and this is an initiative that they started to rehabilitate the C block toilets. All materials purchased, installation to be done over the holidays. I think they're already getting up and working on to this project. I'm not too sure whether Emson would want to unmute and maybe give a quick update on the status of the progress on this project. He's one of the young guys who's actually leading this project with his class groups as well. So the equipment that you see, this is what they've already bought and putting up at the school as well and working on it as well. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure if you want to give just a quick update on this project to say, hey, how far is it going on the school holidays, or you are still to start it a little bit later on to do the school construction?
Thanks, Henry. Hi, everybody. Just a quick update. The installation have been done and completed for the toilets. We are now working on the next items because the toilets, they don't have doors. We would also want to tile the toilets and also change the urinals for the boys because they've got the old style urinals. So we will be starting our fundraise towards those items as of next month. And hopefully by the end of the term, we would have managed to raise funds so that the works can commence as well in next term's holidays. But all has been sorted now with the current items that you've got the pictures of. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, we truly appreciate you guys, the great work that you are doing, and would encourage all the other people as well to participate and see what they can contribute towards these projects as well of making Victoria High School great again and bringing back the glory to the school. So thank you so much for that. So tonight, guys, we're gonna bring up our special guest, somebody whom I've known, I mean, for a very, very a long time, and he has been at Victoria High School, well, since 1988 to 1993. I was with him as well at Victoria Primary School, and he was a school prefect. He's now a businessman. I don't want to say much about my brother, my friend here, Mr. Byron Fundira. Byron, are you on the call? Let's see if we can get Byron. Oh no, he's somebody who's very quiet, and let's see if we can get Byron onto the call. Are you there, Byron, onto the call?
Yes, I'm here. Good evening, everyone.
Okay.
I hope you can hear me loud and clear.
I can hear you loud and clear, Byron. You know what, Byron, I'm so happy and so excited.
Henry.
I'm so happy and so excited to be hosting you and having you onto this show today. I mean, I've got a lot that I can say about you, but I want to hear it from Byron. You know what? People want to know, who is Byron Fundira? Tell us more about who is truly Byron, and what did Byron do at Victoria High School?
Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you, Henry. I don't know whether there's much to say, but I will say a little bit. Okay, so my name is Byron Fundira. I started at Victoria Primary School, as Henry had said, with him. And I was in boarding school. I think my parents were too tired of me at home so they put me in boarding school from a very young age. And then it was a natural transition for me to go from Victoria Primary School to Victoria High School. And we were in the same dormitory at Les Sharp Hostel in 1988. It sounds an ancient time ago with Henry and a few others who may join. I don't know whether they've been able to join, but yeah. So yeah, I started off at Victoria in Victoria High School in 1988 with Les Sharp Hostel. With our matron then was Mrs. Muchemwa. She was a very strict lady. but we are also fortunate that in our stream, one of her sons, Ishanes, who was also in our stream. So I think there was a bit of leniency at times, but also if Ishe was naughty, we would also face the brunt as a group. Um, so about me, I'm a father of four. I think that's my main uh, uh, claim to fame that I can say. Having been blessed with four children has been really a great blessing in my life. They are the people who drive me to do what I do and what I've been able to achieve. Um, and so for me, that's the greatest achievement. Mr. Todd, I see you you put on the chat that it is an achievement. Yes, I'm really truly blessed to have four children, one son and three girls. The girls keep me on my toes all the time with all sorts of demands. But yes, and then I obviously, like most of us here, we went through high school, went to university, and then from university, there was an opportunity for me to move to the United Kingdom, and where he then started working in the healthcare sector in the United Kingdom. That was way back in 1999. In August 1999 is when I moved to the United Kingdom. And I've been here since. I feel embarrassed to say that I've been here for that long, but hopefully one day I'll be able to make the transition back. And so to date, I initially worked in the National Health Service here um, in, in the psychiatric field. And then from there, there was always a yearning in me. And I think those who went to university with me at University of Zimbabwe will know that the entrepreneurial skills or the drive was already there, even when I was at university. So it was a natural transition for me to start a business, which is what I started here in the United Kingdom in the healthcare sector. And that was in 2008. So do you want me to carry on, or people had enough?
I know I'm gonna ask some of the guys as well. I know they'll have some more questions as well about you as well. Because I mean, so let's go back to Les Sharp and also being at Victoria High School as well. What were your main memories, and what do you still remember? And what are the things that you might say, you know what, now when you look back, where you are now and where you came from being at Victoria High School, what are the lessons or things that you can truly attribute to Victoria High School that you're carrying now with you in life?
Okay. I think I want to say I really appreciate Victoria High School for providing and nurturing and an environment that enabled us to thrive. We obviously because of the way Victoria High School such a huge catchment area in terms of the um, geographical catchment area for the school was almost countrywide. We had people from different parts of the country, and it was almost like a melting pot where you would interact with people from the city. We had this how would I put it, the clever guys from the capital who would come and teach us about how life is in the city. Then we had us, we had grown up in rural areas of Masvingo. And then you had people from, due to the legacy of the school, I'm sure people like Danny will tell that the school also had lots of affiliates with the mines, so Renko Mine, Mashaba Mine, Bikita Minerals. And so we had people from all parts of the province also join us, but also people from the Midlands. So I think for me, it gave me the opportunity to meet different people. We had come from different backgrounds, and I learned a lot from my compatriots at the time. got to know. And what one good thing about the school was that it enabled everyone to thrive, whatever their skill sets. It didn't matter. There was something. There was a space for everyone, and also um, enabled us to grow and to have a stable childhood, so to speak. So that's my memories. I remember being one of the things when you got to Victoria High School and you were in Les Sharp, the reason they had all of us Form 1s in Les Sharp was to protect us. But however, you still had to go out to classes, to sports, and you would meet the seniors. And then you would be called, Sprog, come here, and come and do this, come and do my shit. So you are not completely exonerated. And then, but it also, I think for me, yes, I know people talk about bullying in school and how it can be damaging, but it also taught us to respect those who were senior to us. And I think just hearing your intro earlier on when you were saying, oh, it's really good to have people like Danny who are here, who are from the class of 1980. I could even sense the sense of respect that you had in your voice, Henry. And I think that's what came out of some of those things that you had to learn to respect those that came before you and to try and emulate them. So they became our role models. I remember when we used to play rugby, we used to look up to the likes of people like Francella and Oliver Chore and all those guys who were more of our seniors at the time. So in terms of other memories, after Les Sharp, I moved to Fort House, um, which was a different dimension because it was an all boys hostel. And at the time, though, the headmaster lived was our matron there. So there was, and that was Mr. Dewey to start off with before Mr. Kondo. And it was really very strict disciplinarian. I used to remember if you were out of line, you would get the brunt of it very quick. So but the nurturing continued, and then I think I was fortunate to then be moved. Well, I shouldn't say fortunate, but early on in Form 3, I was then moved to Tower House. Maybe because there had been something that had been seen in me. Normally, Tower House was meant for people from Form 4 and above, but I managed to move to Tower House early. Yeah. So that's that. Those are the memories that I have for now.
For now, okay, let's bring all the memories, especially some of the moments, maybe yours, if you were involved in any sport, or if we're being naughty, or some of those things as well. We're gonna reconnect and hear some of those moments when Byron were in trouble, or some of those things that you want to share as well.
Okay. Okay, where can we start? So in Fort, we had a gym, and me and a few others, I won't name them because they've not given me permission here to name them. I won't name them. But we used to spend a lot of time in the gym because we were trying to pump up. We had joined the rugby team and under 14s at the time, and we really wanted to prove a point. So we would spend a lot of time in the gym in Fort House because there was a reasonably big gym. We didn't know what we were doing, to be honest. It was more about doing weights and trying to pump ourselves up. And how we didn't get injured, I don't know. But a lot of the guys were really pumping themselves up. They're wanting to be stronger. So in terms of sport, yes, I joined the rugby team. Every boy and most of the boys yearned, I should say, to be part of the rugby team. But there were also others who played football. I was never good at football, so I thought rugby was a safe space. I played as a hooker, and there are many memories of me as a hooker going into the scrum. I was fairly short and small, but quite stout. I know in your preamble you mentioned the name heavy. That came from that era of playing rugby. and because I was short but quite stout, so I was given the nickname Heavy. From Heavy D and the boys, that is where the name came from. Um, Naughty
At least,
stories, I
yeah, at
can't
least
go
you've
into. Naughty
at least
stories.
you've answered that part as well. I think many people wanted to know, hey, how did you get the name Heavy as well? And at least now that's really answered as well. And Byron, now when you look at what's happening now, the Victoria that you went to and the current Victoria that's there, and where do you see this happening, and what do you think maybe as Vicosa people can actually do to help and to assist the situation?
You're right. I must say, I tend to visit the school every time I'm in Masvingo as much as I can when I'm in Masvingo. My Masvingo is my hometown. My mom is still in Masvingo, so every time I visit Zimbabwe, I'm in Masvingo. My first, a few years ago, I went to visit, and I was really saddened when the current headmaster had started well, Danny and them, who were part of the initial Vicosa team, had made some very good initiatives to re-engage with the school. And I remember the headmaster taking me around the hostels, and it was really saddening to see the state of the hostels, especially when you are looking at areas that you grew up in and you spend most of your childhood in, but to see that a lot of the things had not, for one reason or another, not been able to be maintained. I'm not placing any blame on anybody, but and it was really saddening to see that. Then there was a call at some point because the school had failed to pay the municipality for water. Uh, I think there had been a bill that had not been paid, and we were asked, me and another young man, were asked if we could put up a borehole. So we put up a borehole, and naturally, we chose that the borehole is put up at the boys' hostels. Because I was just imagining when we were growing up, one of the things, or when we were in the hostels, one of the challenges was to get the boys to shower. And that was when we had showers anyway. So I was thinking, how is this working? If the boys didn't want to shower, we had hot water and we had showers, but it was so hard to get anybody to shower anyway. Mm, Thinking, this how are the conditions like now when there is no water to get the boys to shower? So the first thing that came to my mind was to say, we need to get those boys, we have water at least. Um, that would be a very good excuse for someone to go the whole term without having a shower. I remember when we were, uh, oh dear, who is putting that? I just read something from Danny. Danny, stop being naughty.
We're going to go there. We're going to go there.
Okay. But so I was helped by together we put up a borehole. It was put up between Fort and Tower House. And I think that was really good that at least um, the boys could get some water and not having to go and fetch water elsewhere. But I understand in the end it was being used by the rest of the school. Um, my take on things is we all need to do more. I think I feel very indebted to that school because I think everything that I've been able to do in my adult life, the foundations were laid at Victoria. I cannot deny that. And my take is that it is only proper and our responsibility to do the best that we can to rejuvenate the school, to give other young people the opportunities that we had, or at least some semblance of that. I know we can't achieve everything, but in your intro, you mentioned that we have leads that are helping with certain things like sports equipment, rehabilitation of the hostels, and I would say all of us, I urge all of us to really rally behind these guys and to support them as much as we can. Every little will help, and as a collective, we can do much more.
Yeah, you see, Byron, you mentioned about the foundation you got from Victoria High School, because now most of the time, like wherever I am, let's say if I visit a school or even at my kids' school, and sometimes maybe I go anywhere, when I see people just walking on the fields and everything, I feel like kicking them off the field, you know. Or I can't see anybody and just say, like at church, people call me sir. Well, they say, hey, Henry, each time you talk to somebody, say, hey, good morning, good afternoon, sir. And now it's really ringing back to say, hey, I got these things from school. And maybe do you want to share more of some of these things you learned actually from Victoria High School that are actually having a very good and positive impact that created that foundation for you?
You've coined it, Henry. I think there are things that I cannot. The people come into my car, they'll find there's all sorts of litter and paper because I can't drop a piece of litter, and that again came from those from that foundation and those teachings that we had, because you could not litter at Victoria at all, right? If you littered, you knew you would go for punishment. It was standard. And I've carried those things. And just, we mentioned earlier, well, we talked about obviously being called sprogs and being respectful of your elders. And these are some of the things that I've carried through in my life, in my working life, in my interactions with other people, just to be respectful of others. Again, that was an ethos that was not, I wouldn't say drilled into us, but it was something that was made very stark to all of us, that we needed to be respectful of others, just to be polite to other people, and to also treat each and every human being, no matter what their background, with respect. And I found that those teachings that we had at Victoria have carried me through my whole working life, my business life, how I interact with others. And in many cases, it has enabled me to have successes that I never even envisaged that they would happen. And like I said, I'm truly grateful to Victoria for giving us that foundation and that grounding that enabled us to, or someone like me, to succeed in later on in life. I don't think it's something that you could say there was a class to teach around that, but there was a whole system approach, in my view. And it was a whole system approach to behavior, a whole system approach to etiquette, a whole system approach to, like you are saying, you wouldn't walk across Jardine Field because the rugby guys would make sure that you pay for it. I was seeing on one of the posts on the school group where one guy was saying he felt really bad, but he had to do it to get someone who had walked across the Jardine field to go and weed in the fields because they had walked across the field. And as much as he was saying it was it was against his, how can I put it, his ethos at the time, but he felt compelled to execute that punishment at the time, because he knew the importance of, or his head told him of the importance of that discipline that was needed. And I think young people need those foundations of that discipline. I think one of the challenges now is that there's a lack of discipline around across the board, but I'm not qualified to comment further on that at this present moment.
Okay, no, no, brilliant. I'll still need. I mean, when you look at that as well, I mean, you'll find that a prefect could control. Now when I look at the prefects during our time, they have control over some of the teachers right now. What we see on social media and what's happening. Sometimes I wonder what's really happening in the community or in the society,
Mm.
and how can we maybe play a role or bring back discipline or order in the schools? What has gone wrong? What has really gone wrong? I mean, is it? I always have that question to say, when I look at how other kids or in schools or what I see on social media, a prefect will stand up in front and tell you to do this, and people there will be order. People will keep quiet, or people will follow instructions like that. But now I see students fighting teachers. I don't know what's happening. Is it
Yeah,
the
I
Western
mean,
world
in our
coming into
time,
us?
it was in our time it was totally unheard of. In fact, the thought never came to your head. You could not even stand up to a teacher to even reply. You were just told what to say, what to do, and you'd follow. There was no way you would go and and answer to someone like Mr. Dewey, for example. I mean, that would be the end of you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know, Byron, people want to know more about your other activities. What maybe Byron used to
I wasn't
do.
a very so to be honest, I wasn't a very social person. Yes, of course. We used to go to the socials, Mr. Danny. We used to go to the socials. But yeah, and obviously the excitement was when the lights were turned off. Um it was
That's
also
what people want to know now.
I was more of an observer, and this is not no lie. There were who were more streetwise than me. I had well, grew up in rural Mashingo, and I was a bit of closed, an introvert at the time. I still am in a way. Um, and there were lots. It was these things were a bit alien. It was exciting to go and watch others smooching, doing cabbage on the dance floor. For those who know what cabbage is, I don't know whether the young people know what cabbage is. It was a dance that that a lot of people liked to do. Uh, Danny,
Don't. I know Danny's is gonna distract you a lot, eh?
but in a way, I think again, this is what I'm saying, that there was a balance. There was a balance. There was obviously the the drive to achieve, whether on the sporting field, whether in class, but also there were opportunities for people to let their hair down, so to speak, and that the socials were a good time for people because there was, I mean, okay, I want to testify. I was actually scared. That's about 3 years ago, 2020, when I was 2019 or 2020, I can't remember. Yeah, 2020, 2019, when the headmaster took me on a tour of the hostels. Excuse me. And on on the tour, he then took me to temple, and I actually was shaking because it was not something that was totally unheard of for a boy to go into temple house. So I was really shocked. It was my first time to get into the grounds for temple house, and that again is an indication of the respect that people were taught to have. So, in as much as we had socials, people were still very respectful of the girls. That's all I know. Danny.
And I won't go deeper more into that because at least I know you said you won't mention names, you won't do that as well. But Byron, now, I mean, when you tell us more, maybe a bit now of your life, maybe after Vic high, and some of the attributes now you truly attribute to say, look, maybe I'm now like this because of Victoria High School, or some of the values that at least you have learned from Victoria High School that you still carry on in your life right now?
Okay. So like I said earlier, it's been I mean the things that the school taught us, I've carried them in my life, in my interaction with others, just being mindful and thoughtful of others and their feelings. Um, and when I then moved into the healthcare sector and doing psychiatry, I found that those teachings that I had from the school gave me a natural fit into that sphere. Um, just being empathic about others, and by empathy, what I mean is trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes, and getting to understand them better, or taking the time to have that deeper understanding of others rather than just thinking of yourself. And I can't say it's an attribute that's I can say other than attributed to the learning that I had at Victoria High School, because I was a boarder from, like I said, from primary school to high school, and you had to learn to be mindful of others and their differences and how we all think differently. And we also look at things from different lenses. And that's that ability to be able to be mindful of others has helped me in my professional life, as well as in my business life. And also just being wanting to make sure that in any engagement that you have with others, it's a win-win for both yourself and the person you are dealing with. And I remember, okay, I know people say rugby is a rough game, but there was a lot of in rugby. You always have to work as a team from the front row, which was me and my two props. We really had to work in sync. Um, and then you had obviously your second row, yeah, and then you had your flanks and your eighth man. We and that whole uh, um, scrum pack had to work in sync, whether it's on a line out or in a scrum down. It's you had to work in sync, and I think uh, again that teamwork and camaraderie has enabled me to work with different people from different backgrounds in my work life. But it didn't just end on the rugby field. There was also the same camaraderie in the hostels. People looked out for each other. Yes, sometimes being boys, there would be fights. There would be all sorts of things that would happen in the hostels. But in the end, and I say I won't mention names because I remember we had in our stream one particular guy. He was a very athletic, but he was also full of mischief. And sometimes he would uh, drunk or get out of the hospital, but of the hostel, but nobody be um, would would uh, would interfere with what he was doing, so to speak. We would advise him, of course, of doing the right thing, but there was no interference. Um, and when the law sought its course with him, people just observed and let him be. Uh, why I'm mentioning this is because it's enabled us to also try and understand where he was coming from. Yes, it was seen as mischief at school, but also there were some drivers that were driving it. And I remember when I started working in psychiatry and I started meeting a lot of people who had those affiliations to manage their symptoms or manage their situation that way, I could relate a lot to my former classmates who had those behaviors or those influences.
No, it's really interesting. So Byron, I know time is really running out for us as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know. Let me just ask you also, there are some people with some few questions. Guys, if you've got some questions that you might want also to ask Byron, feel free to ask and post your questions onto the chat as well. I'll be able to ask him as well, and he'll be able to answer some of the questions that at least you guys might be asking. So feel free to post any question that you might want or you have for Byron as well. So it's not only so everybody, some of your classmates, you are here. Please, guys, ask them any question if he's been lying about anything or some of those incidents that used to happen in class. Feel free to ask anything that at least you do have as well. So now, Byron, what advice now do you have when you look for the current students at the school? What advice? And when you talk about bring back the glory, what does that mean to you, considering what the current situation and the current status at the school? What does bring back the glory mean to Byron?
For me, it's really about us, as I said earlier, participating in all the initiatives that the Bikosa Management Committee or the Bikosa team um, that is currently managing things. And again, I want to take my hat off to the people who have put themselves forward to serve. I know you are one of them, Henry, but and the rest of that management committee, we really, really, from my perspective, I can't thank you guys enough for all that you are doing out of your own time to bring back the glory of the school. I think as a collective, we should really support you guys as much as we can and in any way that we can. And for me, I look at other schools that were, I think, in our league, if I can put it that way, that have managed to maintain the same level of standards. And I always ask myself, what is it that's so different that we are failing to do? And a lot of them have been driven by their former students who have gone out of their way either to fundraise, do events, support in any other way that they can, and bring back the glory for me is really about us taking the responsibility and taking that responsibility seriously to say we need to be the ones who drive these things, drive the resurgence of the school, drive and look beyond our individual differences, look beyond whatever we may think of others and what their motivations may be. I, I, I think we should be looking at how can we do this rather than why can't we do it? And that's my motto in life, to say, let's always look at I can and how can I do this? What are the things that I can do to make it work? And that is my rally call to everyone, to say, let's look at what is possible. And I know if we look at what is possible, we can achieve all the objectives that we want to achieve. So, as I said, in my view, I am very much behind the management committee that is there, and will support any initiatives that are put forward. I've been a bit slow this year, but I'm sure as the year progresses, I'll be able to put my finger onto a few things that will be happening. I've taken note of what you said and some of the initiatives. I think in my registration, I didn't know it was hard work who is leading the bathroom refurbishment exercise, but I'm sure I'll be knocking on Hardwork's door very soon to see what we can do to make that initiative get off the ground as soon as possible. But I also take off my hats to Enson and his class of 2002 for what they've already been done. What they've already, it's really inspiring to see such great work. I know there was a class of, is it class of 94 or 95 also participated in the repainting of some of the blocks, the school blocks at the school, which was really good. So yeah, and I would want to urge everyone who is on the call or who is listening wherever they are or who listen to this to say, we are the people, we are the ones who make Victoria great. And if we all put our collective heads, we can do this. It's not a big feat if we all work together as a team.
Yeah. Right. No, that's interesting, and we truly appreciate every support and that at least anybody and everybody can give us and give to the school and give to the committee as well. And because it's together, we make things happen as well. And we truly appreciate all the great work, Byron, you have been doing, and you'll continue to do as you have also promised. We truly appreciate that. I have no doubt you have shown your serious commitment in supporting the school as well and in supporting the various committees. And there are some few questions here. Somebody wanted to know also about the culture, saying, okay, I think he got mixed up about the 70s. I don't know why Danny was talking about the 70s. You were not in the 70s. You were not yet born in the 70s. You already
No, I think what? Oh, maybe let him speak.
Sorry to come in. Why I mentioned the 70s is I experienced that, and Byron, I take off my head to him because he is of the same mold as the guys we had in the 70s. When you hear of the elite status of Victoria High School, it came from people like Byron who went flat out in supporting the school. And these are the people, even when you hear of what happened in the 70s and in the early 80s, who would come and train us rugby, donate stuff to the school, do all sorts of things that Byron is doing. So I was basically telling the other members that Byron is like the guys we had in the 70s who are very committed to the school. That's where I was coming from. And Byron, thank you very much for what you've done. It's really commendable. So I'll mute myself.
No, thank you, Mkoma. And actually, I was adding on to your question here as well. Somebody who had sent a private message saying, actually, you've actually highlighted now on the culture. You're talking about the cultures of the 70s, which you've actually highlighted and made it clear as well, which is very good on your part as well. So, Byron, actually, the question is they're saying here, how can we bring back that culture of the 70s? And also, they're saying we've seen students in shabbily dressed in town, in the level of vandalism around the school. I mean, I would never go out. There was a point, you'd not even go out of the hostel without a tie and your blazer on. If you are you'll be just in trouble. Even getting out of a classroom without your blazer on as an upper six student, you'll be in trouble. But now it's saying, hey, we see people shabbily dressed. What's your comment to bring back the culture?
I think we need to, as Danny said, we had role models. I would talk about people like Danny, Francella. You would see them, they would come back to the school, and even if they were professional, they would still come back looking, I mean, they would still come back and still enthuse the ethos of the school. And for us, then it was much easier to emulate, if you can put it that way. You had good role models. And I think part of that, it should be well, my suggestion, I shouldn't say it should be, but should be that we take the responsibility. Yes, the school and the teachers do their part, but there is also the part that we as the old students can take. Just talking to the youngsters, giving them motivation. As someone who employs quite a lot of people, and lately we had a lot of people come from our motherland here to the United Kingdom. I found that there's an aspect that we may have, or we may not have well understood. But a lot of us went to school, then you would go into a job, and you had an understanding of what working life is. But now we have almost three generations of people who have not gone into any formal employment. All they've seen and have they look up to are people who either have done the one or two deals and made some money, and they think that is what their role models are. And some of them have not even had parents who have gone to a formal job. And it's we may underestimate the value or the values of what we were able to experience, because if the role models have been like that, and they have no respect for any form of structure, you just follow suit because that's what you know. And I think we need to start by thinking, how do we start enthusing the culture of people understanding that there is value in forming in following a formalized structure. I know I may be making this sound very simplistic, and I know there are many challenges in our homeland and in our country that drive people to do that. But I think from a standpoint, we need to try and enthuse that grounding, that at least somebody has that grounding. You are talking about, for example, walking across the field. I saw a picture of Jardine the other day. There's actually now a path going right across Jardine, right? Which would never have happened, right? But now there's a path, right? And you start asking and questioning to say, where did all that? We would never, unless if you're going for your match, and you would have to be well kitted up to go and and if you're on Jardine A as an under 14, you feel proud, and you would never want to walk across that field. But now there's actually a path, and it just shows like what has been shared about young people, some of the students looking shabby. Uh, you know, we need to really drive the belief in the school, but it's not going to happen overnight. It will take a concerted effort from all of us, and hence why I was saying that this will require a team effort rather than individual efforts. And the more people can cascade and share their experiences and how it has led them to be where they are today, hopefully the young people who are in the school will also learn or pick up one or two things that can help them in their lives.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Byron. And I can't believe it. It's almost an hour now, and time is just flying. I know you've got busy with other schedules as well. And what are your last words and your parting words that you truly want to say to everybody on this call and other people that are going to be listening to this recording as well? Because some people can't connect right now because there are different time zones and different workplaces. A lot of people actually watching the recording. So what are your parting words to everybody who was at Victoria High School and those who are currently even at Victoria High School?
Well, my parting words would be to say, let's all again support the current management committee's initiatives. Let's look beyond the current challenges, but to say, how do we and have the vision to say either to take the school back to where it was, or even beyond that. My vision would be that we were laid a foundation, and the school, if you look at the history, and Danny knows the history very well, a lot of those buildings that are currently at the school were donated by other institutions or individuals. I think last week you were sharing about a picture of Mr. Is it Mr. Jardine, Danny? Uh, and those fields were named after those individuals because of what they had done to contribute towards the development of the school. It would really be good if one of the former students, whether we have now a Makamure or a Moyo, a block of a block or hostel called Moyo, that would really be something that we would all be proud of. Yes, we have the Jardines, we have the Scots, we have the Les Sharps, we have the Forts, the Tower House, Temple, but why can't we also leave a more lasting legacy at the school of things that we, as the people who are now in these fortunate positions from that foundation, can do even greater things at the school? That is my passing remark. Let's think big. Let's think much more. Let's be more ambitious about what we can achieve, as we already have the foundation. So it's much easier to build from a foundation that is there.
Wow, thank you so much, Byron. I truly appreciate you sacrificing your time and also being able to jump onto this call. I forgot to ask you where you are right now, because it's either you're in Portugal, you're in UK, you are in I forgot to really ask you. So Byron, where are you right now? And was this time when I talked to you, you're in the USA, you're in so many different countries. So where are you right now, Byron?
Right now, I'm home in the UK.
Yeah, home in the UK. No, but thank you so much for taking your
This week
time.
I was somewhere where I could at least participate. This was really important for me, so I had to change my schedules. I arrived from Portugal on Sunday nights to make sure I would be here this week. I don't know where I am next week, but
Yeah, no, we truly appreciate your sacrifices and everything you do. And thank you so much, Byron. So, guys, I just want to thank you, everybody, for being able to join and being on the call as well. What I'll do is this call and these interviews is open to everybody. If you've got something that you want to share, or if you've got somebody whom you truly want us to have on this show, please let us know. Send a message to us. Recommend to us the person who try to bring them onto the call as well. We want to hear from everybody, different generations. What is it that you understand by bring back the glory, and what you have to share about your experiences at school as well? Emson and your team, I think, would want to get your class onto the next call as well. You guys are doing amazing things. Would love to have you here as well and share the progress and inspire more people to do the same as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. We're going to open up the call to everybody. If you want to chat and if you want to put whatever you want to say as well, we'll open it up for everybody. Thank you so much.
Henry, I wanted to just say, I saw, sorry to interject, I saw there was a request. I don't know whether it's been sorted, but if there's still the need for the rugby team to, I know there's been a shortage of money for the rugby team to go to the, it used to be called Kotko Festival. I don't know what it's called now.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
I just want to say that if you give me the links where that we can, I would also want to make a contribution towards that of at least $200 so that they can have food. But I'll talk to you about that. But I think on a wider note, we shouldn't be getting to that position in the first place, is my point. And I think the youngsters to be put in that position is really disheartening. But
Exactly.
I also take my hat off to them because I saw the post that they had said so all three teams are going to go regardless, and we'll share the little food that will be there. So my plea to all of us is maybe these are things that we need to just have funds that are available, because the Quadco Festival, I mean, I remember that was something that was a highlight for some of us who were rugby players to be able to go to the Quadco Festival. And it was obviously it was the start of the season. But yeah, hopefully it will be the boys and girls, because I understand there's also a girls team, would be able to travel with and focus on playing rugby rather than thinking about what are we going to eat when we get there.
No, brilliant. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. We'll pass on to the person who's also coordinating that as well, to also get in touch so at least we can organize it, ensure that at least it's delivered to them on time as well. So thank you so much, Byron, and everything that you're doing. So guys, let me